Hey guys, what's going on? I'm back with another video. How's everybody doing? So this is a video somebody requested that I do, and it was actually a pretty good idea, a really good idea actually. Um, to do as a video. So what I did before was like the top 10, sort of like a wish list. Top 10 things we want in GTA 6, like features or whatever changes, things we want to say, like like a sort of a top 10 things wish list, whatever you want to call it. So this one here is another idea somebody gave me. Top 10 things we do not want. Top 10 things we don't want in GTA 6, which is an interesting idea because, as opposed to like the 10 things you do want, 10 things you don't want are things that they've done before that are just, you just don't like. And obviously you can do a lot more than 10, but I think you kind of have to draw the line somewhere. So I came up with the top 10. At least in my opinion, top 10 things I don't want them to do again, or top 10 things they need to fix, or just top 10 things that were not good that we just don't want to see in GTA 6. So let's get started. Number 10, the lack of offline content. So I know this is probably pretty self-explanatory here. I'm sure everyone would agree. GTA 5, unlike pretty much their other games to that point, there was the initial game came out, the single player, and then the multiplayer didn't come out until much later. But the single player, it just came out, and that's it. It just came out, however many years ago it was. There was never any DLC or missions or updates or anything. All the content that Rockstar made, was exclusively for online. And of course, the explanation is because they want you to have to, instead of paying like, here's like $20 for some DLC. No. They want you to pay, incrementally, microtransactions. I mean, you're not going to hear, I'm sure you've heard this before, but I mean, that's, they want to deliver the game as a service. That's the big, it's 2019, that's the big thing now. But the fact there was no update for single player, just made the game. I mean, if you have to, spend, if you're getting nickel and dimes, one, hat, one pair of gloves, one, rocket launcher at a time, it just makes it, it's, not as fun as, I mean, there's people that want to go in single player and, do all kinds of crazy stuff. So, not having any content there, I think, was kind of disappointing. There's no reason why they can't make both. You know what I mean? Like, the reason is because then you have to buy the stuff in online. I mean, if you have it on PC and you have mods, then you can just load the stuff in single player. But the vast majority of people who play these games are only playing on a console where you can't do that. You could on the 360 and the old generation, but the new ones you really can't. So it's like, it would be nice to be able to have the content offline. And even what they do, even if you do try to do it on PC, they even have things in there where it's like once you load, like if there's like a car from online and you try to load it in single player, like it'll pop up because it's in the game, but then like it disappears. Like they're trying to like thwart, like the one you have to go online and pay for shark cards, and you get the idea. This is a sort of a broken record at this point. They want you to go online and pay money to get all the stuff. So, but then you can still circumvent that with other mods. But whatever. So just the fact there was nothing in single player, like it'd be nice if like there was some sort of like heist or something. Like just put something in there. You know what I mean? Like, because then if nothing else, it starts to seem like weird, where it's like you go in the single player like 6 years later, and it's like, hey man, we really did a great job with those heists. Like they're talking about the same missions from. They just put something new in there. Just put something. I mean, you can't do something. So, anyways, the lack of offline content. Don't really want to see that. Business strategy again. Number 9. So this is something where it's kind of unique to people who play on the PC. With mods and things like that. So. The sort of like the update system or the file system. So basically, and again, you can't really reasonably expect Rockstar to do this because this is something that most people, the vast majority of people, don't even know about. Excuse me, wouldn't care about. It doesn't really matter to the game. But like for people playing on PC, people who use mods, it matters a whole heck of a lot because what happens is every time there's an update for GTA 5, if you have any, not any, but like most of the mods, any like file mods, so like characters, vehicles, anything that has to do with the files. It's not scripts, but like anything that has to do with like the files in the game. You have to reinstall all of them. Every single, like you got like 30 mods, you're gonna have to go through to every directory and copy over every every file for every mod, because what happens is the file system, the way it works is like if you install, like let's say there's an update, you have to put your mods in like the latest update. So it's like it's like called like title update 19 or whatever the heck it is, patch update NG, whatever the thing is called. When they put a new one in there, it overwrites the old stuff. Basically, just breaks. You basically have to reinstall everything because you don't know what they changed, what's updated. Your game won't work. Like it just screws it all up. You have to basically take every mod out, sometimes reinstall it, and put everything back in. It's a pain in the in the rear. Like GTA 4, GTA 4 was like a much smaller game in terms of the quality and the stuff that was, so like the file system was a lot simpler. But like, I don't know, like it would be nice like if you could just have like a folder called just mods. I mean, you can do that, but the problem is it's still, like Open 4, for instance, you can have just a mods folder so it doesn't mess up your game files. But the problem is that, if they update it, you still have to put a whole new mods folder and still do the whole thing because it's still relying on, the base files basically. And so I don't know, like if there's just some kind of, way where you could just, I don't know, just you can't really like reasonably expect them to do this just because it doesn't apply to a lot of people and it doesn't really affect the game unless you're using the mods. But, it would just be nice, like if there was, I don't know, like if you didn't have to do that if the game just didn't break because you have some mods in there and they update it. Or maybe like maybe a different way to do the updates, like you can download the update yourself and copy so like it's not just breaking it every time. And then what they do is they make you do the update. So it's like if you don't update it and you keep like putting it offline to avoid the updates, it's like, oh, you haven't been online long enough. You have to verify your yada yada yada. So I mean, there still is a way around that, but like still, it's just it's annoying where you constantly have to deal with that. So anyways, that's my number 9. Number 8, the delayed release. So of course, I mean, again, 10 and 8. I mean, these are just like business strategy things, but like so look at like Red Dead Redemption. These are the same. Well. Sort of. So, like, the GTA came out in 2013. The console version came out at the end of 2014. The PC version came out at the beginning of 2015. And, Red Dead Redemption comes out 2018. PC comes out 20. Like, just this constantly staggering the role. You're waiting for the thing to come. I mean, it's like, for some people, like, you're kind of bored with it by the time it's, like just, the way they do it. Like, it's just... I think people are impatient. They want to play the way they want to play. You don't want to like wait like years for different versions of the thing to come out. Obviously, the reason why they do that is to make as much money as they can. Just if they release it all at once, 3 years from now, what are they? They want to have something to release then too, so they stagger all of it. It's annoying. Nobody likes waiting. Just release the thing. Number 7, the limited. I don't really know how to describe this. I'm just calling this like the sort of like the limited capacity that the game has on PC. So anybody who plays with mods understands what I'm talking about here. So basically GTA, you can only spawn so many cars, so many people, so much backup, so many, like, no matter what mod you're using, like, you can only like, pop in so many different things in the game, so many vehicles or planes or dudes or whatever. Like, you can only have so many things at a time before either A, the game crashes, B, the mod crashes, or C, it just becomes really slow and the frame rate's terrible and it just gets really buggy and glitchy and doesn't really work. Now, the reason for that is because the game isn't designed to have all that stuff going on, but at the same time, like, like no matter how great your PC is, like the game will still crash, if you have a lot going on, no matter how fast your computer is, because it's only designed to have so many things going on at a time. Like it can't, like the game itself just can't handle so many things. But like on PC, like if you've got the, like the firepower under the hood, like you got the horsepower, when you have like these mods, like you should be able to have like 100 dudes or like, 1,000 cars. Like, I don't know, like if you can, your computer can do it. Like it would be nice. Like if you're doing like one of these missions or you're doing, one of those levels. Like, I mean, you can see, like, if you go back to, like, if you look at like the GTA on Xbox 360, like you look at the old one, I know like nobody's looked at in that forever, but like you can see, you didn't realize it at the time, like how bad it looks. Like it's just the graphics, like it's kind of it should be able to look nicer than it does. I don't know what, I just feel like they have to water it down for stability and other things, but like if you've got the horsepower to be able to have have like all these things going on and great, then you should be able to do, like, it shouldn't be like kind of like capped at, like for instance, like if you go on GTA and you like pull up with a car and you pull up another car, like eventually if you don't look at the other car for a second, like they delete it. Just those types of things, like it gets annoying. Like for instance, like if you're making videos and you're trying to like set something up and they're just constantly deleting everything you're setting up to save the space, even though you can, your computer can handle more. Like just, it's kind of an annoying thing. Like should be able to, more ambitious, bigger world, better graphics, yada, yada, yada. Number 6, the airplane handling. So the planes in GTA, the handling is awful. Like, I mean, you ever play any other game? You ever fly a real plane? You ever, have any sense of aerodynamics? The planes in GTA, basically, you're going full throttle with limited control of your, turning and whatnot. Or if you try to slow down, it just basically puts the brakes on and you cannot steer. You just plummet to the ground unless you, put the engine back on and go full throttle again. And like the handling, it's all jagged and it's. I mean, I think honestly the reason why they do that is because the game world isn't super big, and so if you could just, be like, just flying, just buzzing all over the place, that was if you could just get like from one end of the map to the other in like 2 seconds, kind of unrealistic, kind of a problem. So they kind of have to slow it down and make it a pain in the rear a little bit. But it's just really annoying. Overall, the way that works, just the handling for the planes. Now, you notice I'm not going to complain about the handling of the vehicles. Like, there's a lot of people who think that the car handling, the automobile handling is bad. I think it's great. I think the automobile handling in the other games was terrible. Like, this is great. So I'm not complaining about that. So anyways, there you go. Number 5, the ridiculously long campaign. Now, this isn't something from GTA 5 that should be different. This is something that GTA 5 had like an appropriately, sized story mode in terms of like the length and the time and everything. Red Dead Redemption 2, like, I do not want the single player to be like that. Red Dead Redemption 2, I think there's a statistic, it's like 90% of people didn't even finish the single player. It's so freaking long. Like, you can't. So I'm just hoping that's not like a sign of things to come, that like, it's going to take like a month to do the single player. There's like, 100 and whatever minutes. Like, no, it's too much. It's too long. You can't do it. It's too much. Too long. So hopefully they don't do that. Number 4, and this is kind of a complicated one. Just weird characters and weird content and weird missions. Like, Rockstar has this tendency, like GTA, Red Dead, of just putting like this, sort of like weird, macabre, like just gross kind of, like, you think about like Trevor in GTA, like he's just disgusting and creepy and like a murderer and like all this stuff. And you think about like Red Dead Redemption, like plenty of these like kind of nasty or like messed up like serial kill, like just weird, and then they're like in there with the cults in GTA. Like, there's just, they have this like, I mean, of course there's messed up things in the world too, so like, there's that, but at the same time, like, there's this inordinate, like, unusual, like, tendency that Rockstar has to put these creepy, weird things in their game. Like, I don't really know how to describe it other than like, I don't think the cult in GTA and Trevor, and then like the cults and stuff and Red Dead, and then like the serial killer and like the weird. I'm not saying it needs to be like rated E, but like just some of that stuff's like, oh, woof. Like, you just don't even, it just ruins the whole. It ruins the atmosphere of the whole. It's like, like Trevor and G. Like, I hated that character. Like, I mean, I guess, he's like a funny character for some people, but like, and I'm not saying like everything needs to be like sunshine and roses, but like just some of the stuff is not necessarily that it goes too far. Well, yeah, I mean, it does go too far, but it's like, it's just kind of like, enough. Like, it's weird. It takes away from the game because it's so. Some of these things are just so creepy and gross and just yuck. Like, it's like you just don't even. I don't know. It starts to, some of these things detract from the overall game because it's like, this. You don't even want to play those missions or deal with it because it's so weird. It's like I don't really put some of those things in there. So anyways, there you go. Number 3, slow loading time. Did I skip one? No, I didn't. All right, yeah. Slow loading time. So GTA. When you're, Red Dead is a little bit better, but GTA, like, when you go from Red Dead is better because there's like nothing going on. It's all woods and horses and nothing. Like, GTA, there's a lot of vehicles and buildings and whatever. When you try to, like, for instance, like, even, I remember like Xbox 360 was a disaster. The new generation consoles, no matter what you're playing on, no matter how fast your speed is, it's always a disaster. Like, if you try to go from single player to multiplayer, it goes like doof, 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 and it zooms out. And it just sits on that screen with the sky, and the wheel turns forever, and it just, it's too slow. It's slow. Too slow. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things going on, but it's like, it gets to be too much. You're like, you're in a mission, and the mission ends, and it's taking you back to the multiplayer. It's too slow. It's too slow, okay? It's too slow. They gotta fix that. It's annoying. Number 2, ugly characters. So the NPCs in GTA, really in all of this is true. The NPCs in all of Rockstar's games, I don't know why it is, like if they use like a certain studio to design them, or it's like a certain motion capture. Like, I don't think the NPCs are motion capture, but like, or all of them. The NPCs in Rockstar's games, I'm going back to like the beginning, like all of the games historically like the ugliest characters I've ever seen. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, there's something about the design or the studio, or like, I don't know if it's like the same designer doing them. Like, there's just something ugly, like GTA 4, 5, Red Dead 1, 2, Max Payne. Like, the characters, they're just ugly. Like, there's just like some sort of like uncanny valley, like blocky face, weird features, weird hair. Like, they're just ugly characters. They're not realistic. They're just like ugly. I don't know what it is, but like, they're just blocky faced, like ugly characters. Like, I don't know how else to describe this one. They're just ugly. Like, you look at other games, they got like realistic looking dudes, and they got, you know, like motion capture, CGI stuff going on. I mean, the main characters, I'd say, don't have this problem because they are like motion capture, but like the NPCs are just, in all of their games, they're just ugly, block face, kind of creepy looking, like unrealistic, uncanny valley. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that you can look it up. Basically, it's a psychological effect where, like, if you see like computer generated people that are designed to look like people, but like at the same time, no matter how good the CGI is, like your brain can always tell that it's not real, just because your brain's really good at, for some reason, people's brains are just really good at figuring out, you know, if people are real people or if there's something wrong with the people. So this was a problem, you know, like when they first came out with the animated movies, like some, you know, you think about like movies like the Polar, which I actually really like the Polar Express. Like, I don't see it, but like other people think it's creepy because the characters are also like zombies in a way, because, you know, like they're you know, like there's different games that have this problem, and Rockstar definitely does, where it's like they're just blocky and ugly and kind of weird looking. Like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's just, I don't know, like, they should fix that because these characters are kind of ugly looking. Number one thing, and I know, I mean, this is kind of like obviously, I mean, this is pretty obviously the number one thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure if anyone made a list of 10 things they don't want in the next GTA, this would be number one on everybody's list. It's pretty obvious, but at the same time, it's not going to change. The fact that you basically have to buy shark cards, the microtransactions, everybody knows this. You can complain about this for every game now. They're not going to change it because this is the business model they want to have, so that, you know, like years ago, not even too many years ago, you know, several years ago, you know, these companies would come out with the game, and then they would, you know, sell the game. They'd sell a lot of copies, and then they'd make another game. But they don't want to do that. What they want to do is be like Fortnite and make one game. It's not even a game. It's just a multiplayer. And then over time, you know, come out with, you know, basically like sell you little tiny little ad, a little hat, little helmet, little this, little, you know, instead of in the game's free. And the reason why they want to do that is because they can stretch the thing out over a long period of time, and their net bookings, you know, over a longer period of time or you know, more stable, and investors like that, they can sell this. Basically, not even the games. Every company wants to do this now, because instead of having to come up with a product and invent it and make it and sell it and then make another one, they just want to kind of make like one that's kind of like, you know, make a platform. That's the big word. Make a platform. Sell it as a service. That's the big thing now, which I can't stand. Anybody who does that, I don't buy whatever it is. I will not buy like a movie service. I won't pay for that. Games, any kind of thing that works like that, I'm not doing. I'll buy it once and that's it. So just this whole idea is just no. Like, just, you know, make the, and of course they're never going to do it. I'm going to waste a lot of time talking about it. I mean, this is what they're going to do. But I mean, put it this way, like Rockstar, this is what they would do with GTA. Like, there used to be certain missions you could just grind, you know, and make some money to buy stuff. And then what they figured out was like, hey, we need to make these missions a lot harder because we really just want you to quit and buy these stupid cars. Like, even if you don't want to, when you want to play the missions, what Rockstar started doing is like getting certain missions, like making them like pay less or make them more difficult, so that you couldn't, because they want your money. They want you to pay for these cars, and I never did. I never do it. And then as they'd come up with like even more things, you know, then they'd come up with like these big add-ons where you had to like buy a base. Like, it's all just designed to get you to have to spend more money than you've got, so you have to put real money in the game. Which, nope, I'm not doing it. So, you know, anyways, which is why I didn't play the multiplayer, because I'm not doing it. It's all designed to get you to do that. And I'm not doing it, suckers. So just that. I mean, they're never going to get rid of that. But I mean, I guess if anything, make it so that you don't, man, they're never going to do any of this. But like, make it, I don't know, like, don't just be like going in tweaking everything to make it more difficult. Just all these things to force you to buy. Like, you know, put them there. If people are going to buy them, they're going to buy them. But it'll be like going in and artificially making it so that if you want to play the game, you have to buy the shard. Like, that's kind of what it comes down to. So, anyways, there you go. All right, so here's my top 10 things I don't want in GTA 6. There you go. So there it is. All right, guys, other than that, let me know in the comments. I would say description in the comments what you guys think. If there's things you don't want to have, you agree, disagree with any of the things I came up with. Other than that, it's all next time. I'll do for this one, guys. Thanks for watching.